Well, I think we can start, right? Hi, everyone, and welcome to our today's session devoted to testing basics in Salesforce. My name is Daria, and I'm so glad to see you all here. Today, we're going to talk about Salesforce Platform Essentials, explaining fundamental testing concepts, hands-on approaches, best practices, and tips tailored for those with little or no experience in the Salesforce environment. So I would like to introduce you our speaker, Milos.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah, and
guys.
before we get started, I just want to highlight that if you have any questions about our today's topic, don't hesitate to put them in our chat. In the end, we will have Q&A session, and we will try to answer all your questions. So yeah, let's get started. Milos, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you guys for attending this webinar. So I'm Milos Markovic. I'm a lead testing engineer at EPAM, and I have 8+ years experience in testing and 5 years experience in testing various Salesforce applications. And I'm here to talk about Salesforce and how we can test it better, and to basically introduce you to the basic testing concepts of Salesforce and the Salesforce in general. So in today's webinar, we're going to go through some of the Salesforce platform basics. We're going to introduce ourselves to what is Salesforce, what are its core applications, and so on. Also, we're going to dig a bit deeper into some of their main clouds, such as Salesforce OMS, Sales, Services, and Commerce Cloud platforms. And also, we're going to talk about how we can organize our testing strategy in relationship to the clouds that we're going to test, or clouds which we are going to be involved in. And also, for the last, we're going to leave for Q&A sessions, which I will try to answer all of your questions that you might have. So let's start from some of the Salesforce platform basics. So what is Salesforce? Salesforce is basically customer relationship management platform. And basically, it's what distinguishes Salesforce from other platforms is actually one of the first who came up on the cloud, and one of the pioneers of usage of AI, basically, and which makes her number one currently AI-powered customer relationship management platform. That customer relationship platform, together with their AI, with data, and also the Trust Cloud that Salesforce offers, basically creates really good precondition for generating good customer success for any businesses which uses Salesforce. All the solutions that Salesforce offers are kind of organized and presented through Salesforce Customer 360, which basically contains all of the application solutions that Salesforce offers, such as Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing, Commerce, MuleSoft, Slack, and so on. Why it's so popular? Well, it basically has some key things to do with its popularity. Main of which are, first of all, it's cloud-based. As I mentioned earlier, it's first basically cloud-based. It was one of the first cloud-based platforms, CRM platforms. It has great ability for customizations. So for various type of businesses can easily customize according to their business needs. Scalability from smaller to big businesses. Comprehensive features, quite user-friendly. It's basically, its learning curve is great, and basically it's easier for business personnel, agents, supervisors to get really easy into the application itself. It has really great ecosystem, which basically is consistent of the Salesforce as a company, the partners, which are us who are using the Salesforce, and also the business in themselves. And they together are basically trying together to create a great story out of all those businesses. It's AI powered, and basically AI is incorporated in throughout all of its solutions and applications. And what is also really great about Salesforce is its continued innovation. It's continually providing different solutions for handling different business needs, and also on their own, and also they're acquiring quite a lot of companies which are basically having the same values as the Salesforce, and also acquiring their solutions and improving them and providing them also to customers. So that being said, that also what makes Salesforce popular, but it also generates millions of jobs around the world, and thousands of companies are using Salesforce each day, one or other solutions. So it's one of the studies from 2018-19. I'm not sure. It basically says that it will create. It's basically said that it will create around 9.3 million new jobs by 2026, which will generate around 1.6 trillion US dollars. With all of these things mentioned, and also on the chart on the right, you can see the share from first half of 2021 is that Salesforce share is around 23.9%, which is much higher than any of its competitors such as Oracle, Microsoft, or Adobe. With all of these things in mind, it's quite interesting for any developer or any IT expert to get into the Salesforce, because the prospects of having the job in a project where it's Salesforce, some Salesforce technology in place is quite high. And that's why it's also worth investing in Salesforce, in learning Salesforce platform, because the prospects of gathering job which has, or project which has its platform used is quite high. In general, what it offers is basically depends on the business. So it offers basically out-of-the-box solutions, which can be easily used as is, but it can also customize them according to any business needs, and usually business needs quite some customizations. But it can also generate entirely new app from scratch. Regarding the business needs, so for example, let's say that we have some prospects to sell, or some ideas to sell to other businesses and so on. Salesforce basically offers something which is called Sales Cloud. If, for example, we need to handle customer requests, complaints, questions, and so on, Salesforce offers Service Cloud. If we want to be mobile and want to have all of our Salesforce data opportunities or customer relationship handled by phone, there is Salesforce mobile app. So all of this stuff or business needs can be handled by the Salesforce, or some of the, or all Salesforce applications. In high level, its architecture is like a piece of cake, I would say. It's not easy as a piece of cake, but it's presented here as a piece of cake. So everything on Salesforce resides on the cloud, and Salesforce Cloud is trusted and multi-tenant. Trust is what Salesforce really involves and really gives a lot of its attention to trust. And basically, it makes its Salesforce Cloud its cloud environment really secure, and manage all of the customer or client or business data really secure and confidential. Also, multi-tenant means that all of the businesses that are basically are using the same resources that Salesforce offers, and same capacities. That is basically on the base of this cake. Throughout this is basically throughout all of these layers, there is metadata, which covers all of these three layers. And in the middle layer, there is a platform, which is, of course, as a Salesforce powered by that metadata. And it's basic foundation of all of those applications that Salesforce offers. Based on that platform is the data services, AI, which they invest a lot in AI, and also their quite good API management. And on top of the cake is an applications, such as the ones that I mentioned: sales, service, marketing, and other applications. One thing to mention is some of the applications that Salesforce offer are not part of the same core set of applications, such as Salesforce B2C, which I'm going to talk about a bit later. So all of these things that I said, and throughout my career, what I learned mainly on the trailhead. So if you're a newcomer to Salesforce and you want to start learning about Salesforce and get into the Salesforce, first stop is a trailhead. It's a really good way, interactive way to learn Salesforce in quite detailed way. It offers wide range of modules, basically exercises, challenges. And what is the good thing is it also offers a playground where you can get basically hands-on experience on most of their applications, which I'm gonna showcase you its playground a bit later. Apart from the trailhead, there are also quite good engineers and Salesforce partners who offer also Udemy courses where you can learn more and in more detail some of the Salesforce stuff. There are also community portals that you can also get your some sort of information and also get your hands around Salesforce. And of course, other stuff such as YouTube and other media platforms when you can get know better of Salesforce. So in this part, I'm going to focus a bit on some of the main Salesforce clouds and the clouds that I had most experience with. So Sales Cloud, basically it provides streamlined managing of customer sales. And basically it provides centralized platform when I can manage all of my accounts and businesses, leads, and opportunities that I have to for any business. It's quite efficient way, and it's basically with also the power of AI, it basically makes all of the data regarding the sales quite visible, easily handled, and utilized better. It provides lead management, it provides opportunity tracking, pipeline, also through pipeline management, and sales forecasting and analytics, so that we can, as a customer or as a business, I can get an overview of all of my sales prospects. Service Cloud, basically, it is AI-powered customer relationship platform. As an example, let's say that there is a business who offers shoes to the customers, and for example, let's customer says that, okay, I have a broken shoe, and I contact some of customer agents. All of that complaints or questions can be handled by Service Cloud. And given that it relies heavily on the AI, it makes all of that experience personalized and efficient according to each customer. It provides case management, which basically means all the cases that someone raised, account management, so we can have a clear overview, the business can have a clear overview of all of the accounts that raised questions or have some problems. Knowledge management, which is a really good thing about Service Cloud. Basically, when someone handles some customer case, for example, when agent handles some customer case, with help of the AI and with help of that knowledge base, customer agent can quite easily handle any customer question, problem, or any case that customer raise. And it also offers omni-channel support. So whenever you see some on some e-com site, when you see some that pop up on the right, say, okay, hello, how can I help you? That is basically what also Salesforce offers. Commerce Cloud, basically it's a storefront to the customer. So whenever you have, for example, I mentioned previously some online shop for the shoes or sneakers, that is what basically Commerce Cloud offers. It actually also offers in three variants. So B2C, so what you will usually see as you buy some stuff online. B2B, which is more for the business sales, and B2B to C is for somewhere in the between, but is more like on businesses, first time buying businesses. It offers basically a streamlined e-commerce experience, manageable commerce experience, and where basically business can manage their catalogs, their products, their sales, their campaigns, targeting campaigns, and based on again Salesforce AI, which I'll probably mention a few more times, they can always offer a personalized experience for any buyer. Salesforce Order Management Cloud, uh, it basically, let's say it like this. So it offers solution for managing sales after they are out of the, I would say, storefront. Let's imagine that, okay, you bought some sneakers, and after you bought some sneakers, that orders are being handled by Salesforce Order Management service. It offers Apart from it offers that handling of the orders and then having the 8 statuses reflecting in real time to the customers. So whether your purchase is being acquired, it's being tracked, it's being shipped, declined, canceled, whatever reason. And it also offers return appeasements and refunds. All of that is being handled by OMS. And it also, apart in that same solution, it also offers omni-channel inventory, which basically with OMS we have this inventory which basically handles the inventory management and real-time. OMS basically has a real-time insight of whether some items are in stock or out of stock, and all other communication to LSPs, or for example to the some distribution companies and shipping companies. All of that has been handled by the OMS. All of these clouds that I mentioned are quite easily integrated with each other. And that integration is quite seamless. So based on my experience, I did not have project where it was only one Salesforce solution. It was always multiple Salesforce solutions. So usually when you have an e-com platform, and for example, you take the B2C, businesses usually also take its Service Cloud solution and also OMS, for example, OMS solution. And they usually go for that because it's quite easy to integrate it when it's same cloud. And by Salesforce later also acquire MuleSoft, which is basically integration middleware. It make all of these integrations quite easily and almost seamless. So before our next topic on testing Salesforce, I'm gonna quickly showcase you Salesforce Service Cloud, just to get your hands around Service Cloud platform and how it looks. So I will stop sharing for a second and switch to another screen. Okay, so this is the Salesforce Service Cloud. And through this basic application, I can access multiple Salesforce applications. So here I'm currently on service applications, but I can also easily access Salesforce sales applications. For purpose of this webinar, I will just focus briefly on Service Cloud, just to showcase you what is this Service Cloud all about. The environment that I'm using is actually the Trailhead Playground. So any one of you can actually register on Trailhead, which is free. And while starting learning Salesforce, you can also start actually having hands-on experience on each of these applications. Most of these applications, I would say. So here are the applications and objects which are related to these applications. Service Cloud applications, main objects are the accounts, which basically represent there are two types of actual accounts, business accounts and also customer accounts. Here are main business accounts, such as United Oil and Gas, Singapore, something like that. These are all data from the playground, so not real data. I mean, they provided me with this state data. So accounts, contacts. Each contact is related to the account, and cases. Cases represent, as I mentioned earlier when I was explaining the Sales Service Cloud, basically service case from reason from the customer. So let's open, for example, one of the Service Cloud cases, and to see what this object actually offers. So on the right, there is the details of the case. So case owner, or since I'm just the owner and I created this playground, I'm the owner of this particular case. In the real world, one of the customer agents will be the owner of the case. Statuses, so where we can track the status of this case. Case number, priority of the case, contact name, which this case, contact person who rose this case, account to which this case is related to, email, and so on. All of this is basically presents one of the ways how we can represent the case. All of this is also quite customizable. So since this is a playground, I think most of this data is just like bumped up here, but usually businesses have some additional data to add here, additional information to add here, and additional and some stuff to remove from here. But in general, these are the key fields which are represented to any case management. And one interesting thing is also case origin, for example. Here, case origin represents basically which point or which channel customer raised the case. That can be phone, email, or web. So for example, if I have customer B2C e-com storefront, and for example, I want to complain about broken shoe or something like that, I can directly from the storefront or web storefront, I can directly raise a web case by populating form, and once submitting that form, if integrated with Service Cloud, will arrive this with a case type web. Same if, for example, I want to write an email, that means that case will arrive an email, or in most of the cases when I'm calling it by phone, this case will have the case origin phone. And that is some of the main informations. And of course, what is the subject? Why the customer complained? For example, this seeking guidance, electric wiring, stuff like that. Description. What is the description that we need to that basically provides the details of what the problem is about. and some internal comments that we want to share. Whenever customer agent takes this case, all communications can be done through feed, and all our updates are also visible, whether the case changed the statuses or changed the assigned person or any information is changed regarding the case, it is visible here. There are also some related tab here, which basically represents all the related objects to this case object. That also means also case history, any attachments, case comments, activity history, and open activities. For example, I can directly from, let's say from here, I can open, for example, some other account object. For example, this one. This is one I created, account I created when I practices the Salesforce. So this account object basically represents some of the businesses that are related to this Service Cloud account. And for example, one of the key things here is also details. So who is the account owner? What is the account name? If this is a nested account, if it has parent account number, and so on. Here are some fields which are also related to other Salesforce platforms, such as sales. So it also gathers data from the Sales Cloud. So if, for example, this account is related to some sales prospect, sales information are basically shared, and this account is shared among these applications, which also what makes this Salesforce platform really good. So, for example, if I open Relate tab, I can see that there are also related opportunities to this. Opportunities which are basically objects which are actually Sales Cloud objects. So that is what I'm saying, that what this cloud offers is really integratability between the applications. So this object, which is actually object from another Salesforce solution, is now easily accessible also to service agents. Of course, there will be some restrictions, which is through the permission set and so on, which is basically standard thing to do with the Service Cloud. But in general, it proves my point that all of these things is easily integratable and accessible, and I can easily switch to all, easily get and acquire all information that I need. I can access all the list of these accounts, and all of, for example, all the contacts can be easily accessible through here. All of this here is manageable. So how customer agent, since this is Service Cloud application, how customer agent will see and interact with this application is customizable. So I can see how many fields through, for example, I set my permissions wrong, so I cannot edit it at the present moment, but I can select fields to display, delete some of the records here, show list of filters. Everything here can be easily manageable. So for example, if I want to create, let's say I want to create a new contact here, I can just easily have here, and contact form will be opened. If I want to import, I can easily import that. If I, for example, want to add new list view, for example, here is basically recently view. This is the out of the box list view. But for example, if I want to create a new list view, I want to say, okay, Milos list view. And for example, this list view can be only for me. I can create a new list view. And now add my own filtering, how I want to see my information with my list view, some information related to my, for example, my personal wish, I will say. So quite manageable, and that's why when I said that it's easy to learn and quite easy for customer agents to get found of these applications. Also, there is quite extensive use of reports. So, and it's quite easy to generate reports itself. So for example, if we want to see for which part of our businesses we get more complaints or more cases, we can easily create report and track that information. Or if you want to say for Service Cloud, if you want to see the performance of our agents, to see how many agents, what agents have the most cases closed, how many agents want to have the most cases open. We can easily create a report and get that information. So these current reports are related here are the sales reports, but again, I can easily showcase you what I mean by that. Um, so all of this information basically, like presented like this, is too much. But again, this is something generic report, generically generated report. But I can easily edit this report and customize it according to my will. So if I want to show all of these columns, or I want to aggregate some of this information, or to group this information, for example, according to opportunity owner or stuff like that, it can be easily done. But this is pretty much out of the box stuff that is Salesforce offers. But it also, for example, if I have business which wants some additional fields, which I mentioned, for example, for case object, I can easily do that. So for example, if I access the setup, and for example, type object manager, I can open the object manager and basically open any object I want and customize it according to my business needs. For example, I open now here the case, and I can see all of the fields that I briefly show you just a minute ago. And I can see all of the fields and relationships for this particular case object. I can add the new field, I can delete the fields, and also edit field dependencies. So for example, I can, if I want, I can add the new field, say, let's say date time field. And for example, field name, let's say time to close case. And basically I can go next and easily create that field. And if I open time to close case, this field will now be visible once I open the case object. This is like a really short showcasing of Salesforce Service Cloud. And with the amount of time that we are given for this webinar, it's too little to showcase you everything. So I tried to showcase you the most interesting part, maybe too fast, so sorry for that. But this is I would say, the most critical part of these applications. And I believe for any future webinars, if we attend, we will dig deeper into all this stuff. But again, all of this stuff that I showcase you are easily learned through Trailhead. And with their playgrounds, you can easily play around, break stuff, create new stuff, create your own views and so on. So easily can be learned that way, because it always offers already those environments which you can practice all of the knowledge you gathered on the Trailhead. So this is for the showcasing, and I'll now go back to the maybe more interesting part. Testing. So I'll showcase you the Salesforce in general, and one of the key things in creating the good strategy for Salesforce, test strategy for Salesforce projects, is to understand each of these clouds and to understand the cloud that you're going to work with. Even though they are pretty much same and not pretty much the same, but they are quite related, approaching the testing of these clouds can be quite different. and we need to put emphasis on one point, on one testing methodology on one cloud, another test methodology on another cloud. We need, before we also start with the testing, we need to determine high-level testing scope of these applications. I was on the projects where, even though we had opportunity to work with entire solution of Salesforce, my team was focusing only on one stream of that solution. For example, only for integration of newsletters, for example, with Marketing Cloud. Even though that cloud offers much, much more, we only focus on that part. So understanding the scope will also benefit your testing, and provide better testing results. Determine testing levels. These applications, as I said, are different. And based on whether they are like integer between other modules, or they can be a standalone, it determines on which levels we need to focus more. Don't get me wrong, we need to focus mostly on all of the levels, testing levels, but on some applications we need to focus on some levels more and on some levels less. We also need to determine methods and types of tests we need to include, and also issue triage flow. By understanding the application itself, we can easily, or I will say easily, more easily, triage the issue and approach the determining of root cause of the issue more easily. So if, for example, let's say about OMS, if I know how the process works and all the automations within the OMS process works, and if I know how process exception works and so on, if I invest my time into understanding that, whenever issue arise, I can easily do first minute triage and already provide better bug report than if I would just say, okay, issue rose, this is not working, and that's it. We can be quite efficient in that way if we understand the Salesforce applications. We also need to define kind of cloud-specific quality gates with SDLC. That is also related to the testing levels that I mentioned before. And also, we need to try to get, I know that most of you guys are here are QAs, and they create much of the test plans most of the time. And this basically, this last point basically relates to all of the projects. But for Salesforce, especially if we have multiple clouds, creating quite detailed and precise test plan for all major testing activities is quite important. Especially, as I said, when we had multi-clouds and integrations in place. So I'll focus now a bit on each of the clouds and how the testing could be, according to my, I would say, experience, can be performed. So for Sales and Service Cloud, and I will maybe say mostly for Service Cloud, we need to focus on system integration and system. With my experience, usually Service Cloud was integrated with some e-com application or some other applications. Whether that be Salesforce or any other, it was integrated. That means that we need to test the system as a whole and also focus on integration with other systems. With the methodologies used, end-to-end was, from my side, was utilized quite a lot, especially because we had multiple systems integrated. Also, because there are a lot of features with Service Cloud, even though it's really good out of the box, there are a lot of customizations in place. So feature testing must be performed and must be focused on feature testing. Given I mentioned earlier that usually people, in Playground, I had access to all of the objects, you see the relations and so on, but in real projects and real products, there will be restrictions and there will be roles and set of permissions set up on those roles. So Text access control testing will be needed. So we need to verify for each user role whether it has right set of permissions and is able to perform only the tasks managed by those permissions. So access control testing for sales and service is quite important. For non-functional testing, performance and security, even though myself don't have experience with the security that much, but the performance, for example, if we had I had also opportunity for sales service cloud to be used by something which should not be used. It basically also generated quite a load and quite a lot of data being dumped into the service cloud. Testing its performance in that way is needed. Regarding the automation, there are two tools. I need to, as I said, I did not say, but I will say it now. I did not have too much experience with automation on the service cloud itself. But my few of my colleagues have worked with automation service cloud, and Copado Robotics and ProArm are really good tools to use for automation. I personally use some other tool, but at the point that I was working that Copado Robotics was not that developed at that point of time, or not known well. But Copado Robotics is really good, and experience that I had with it is that it easily set up, almost codeless, same as ProVar. So it really offers good way to automate your, for example, regression test or any test that you want to automate at point, and it quite fast way. Specific tools. So whenever working on some of the core platforms such as Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, Salesforce Inspector is a really good tool to use. It basically offers us inside of the metadata inside of it, and basically in more detailed way, and some hidden data that are basically not shown for some object. For example, we can decide to hide some of the objects, some of the information for some objects, but with the Salesforce Inspector, we can basically we can access some of those data basically as a spreadsheet. Salesforce Workbench, basically it provides API. It provides posting, getting, creating REST APIs requests towards Salesforce applications in easier way. We can do that with the Postman. That's why I've also mentioned here Postman, but it also can be used. It basically integrates directly with the cloud, and basically Workbench, you don't need to do authorization keys and stuff like that. Basically just integrate with your account, and basically you can start spamming your requests. And also JSON differentiator, it's because you will work a lot with integrations, and you will look a lot with JSON files, and comparing the data will be quite stressful if you don't use JSON differentiator. Order management system, testing levels for OMS are system integration and system integration and acceptance. OMS is a consumer of data, and it will never be alone. So you will always have stuff on other endpoints. So system integration is the most important for you, and you will spend 90%, as I did, 90% time testing integrations. Acceptance. I put here acceptance because since OMS handles orders, it's a touchy data. It's something which is really will eventually cost our clients money if we don't do it right. Focusing on acceptance and doing together and collaborating with the stakeholders is quite important during the testing in acceptance phase. So pushing that acceptance phase and involving customers is, in my experience, quite important. Methods. end-to-end prior to the acceptance. So from end-to-end, from creating order, processing your order, which is one point, and also deleting the order to the retailers and also to the shipping companies and so on, tracking order. That is all the end-to-end flow that we need to follow. Feature testing, same as for Service Cloud, some customizations are required, and therefore we need also to do a feature testing. And again, access control testing, because personnel on the OMS will have different permissions to see different types of orders and so on. Non-functional testing types, performance. For example, when we have high period of sales for B2C, such as Black Friday, you will expect for some of the companies to have thousands of orders per hour. So we need our OMS to handle that. So performance testing is needed. Automation tooling, I did not have experience with automation of OMS, but I will say the Copado could be used there, but I cannot say for that, for sure. Specific tools, same as for the Salesforce and Service Cloud. Commerce Cloud test specifics. So given that it is customer-faced web storefront, and mainly here we'll talk about B2C aspect, it's integration, because you will usually have integrated with either payment providers such as, I don't know, Adyen, or some review providers, stuff like that. You will need to focus integration level, system as a whole, and system integration. Focusing testing methods will be end-to-end. Again, I'm focusing end-to-end, but you will not always perform end-to-end in each stage. But again, it's preferable to use it as much. Feature testing, because all the customizations in place. And what is distinguished from the previous one is UI testing. For core applications, for service and sales, you don't need to emphasize how something will look. That's pretty much out of the box, and there will not be customizations in that terms of sense. So you'll focus on UI, but that not much. But for storefront, customer-facing applications such as this, you will need to focus on UI testing. And of course, compatibility testing, because different devices, tablets, mobiles, different browser versions is a must if you want to test, if you want to have good and reliable B2C storefront. Non-functional testing type, again, always performance. Security, because again, it's publicly accessible, so security is a kind of important thing. Accessibility. I mean, now for any European client and US client, accessibility requests are always there present. And user experience. For automate tooling, I think most of you guys heard these three tools, so Cypress, Playwright, and WebDriver IO. And my personal favorite is Playwright. At recent times, I'm using Playwright. So I believe that all of these three tools are quite good and can easily handle automation requests that this B2C implementation could have. Specific tools. For example, for Commerce Cloud B2C, Demandware with these is a really good tool. It's basically a browser plugin, which basically gives you the access of the logs in more nicer way, handles your sessions when you're like testing for quite some time or popping up the business manager up and down. Postman. And for, I'll say, compatibility testing, Browser Stack. Browser Stack always proved quite useful to test that. So I will say that is that from my side for now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Milos, for such an interesting session. I would say that till now there are no questions asked in the chat. So if anybody have any questions, please do post them in the chat. Or you can reach Milos in Teams later. Yeah, maybe let's wait for some seconds in case anyone has a question. Yeah. Okay, guys, no questions, but still you can always reach Milos in Teams. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for attending this meeting. Thank you again, Milos, for this amazing presentation. And have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.